As a land manager, it is important to work with what you have on your property. Here in Pennsylvania, we have a very diverse habitat ranging from rolling hills and farmlands to high mountainous peaks with big timber. One thing that we consistently do have is old reclaimed strip mines. These strip mines can create unique situations when organizing a management plan for your property. However, with a little creativity and strategy, you can use it to your advantage to optimize your land's potential, resulting in better habitat for your wildlife. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Off Season. Today we are talking about old reclaimed strip mines and the challenges that are associated with them when managing your property. First, I'd like to say that strip mines are very prevalent here in Pennsylvania, and this is something we run into a lot on our properties. Strip mining is a process in which they remove all the timber on a property, and then the top layer of soil is removed, exposing the coal. Once the coal is extracted, the top layer of soil is put back into place for reseeding. In some cases, retention ponds were a tool the miners would use to divert and hold water during the mining process. Now, whether you agree with that or not is a topic for another day, but the bottom line is these areas, specifically these retention ponds, can have excellent topsoil that is a perfect location for a hunting plot. So let's head into the field and take a closer look at today's episode. So guys, we're out here today on a portion of our farm that we just acquired 2 years ago. This is a 210 acre tract that was adjacent to a current tract that we owned. We're in the far southern tip of this property, whereas up towards the house and the camp is the northern part of this particular tract where we have a large destination plot. Over the last year and a half, we've been working on this end of the property to create early succession food plots, some planted food plots, and then also a large destination area. Back in the day, this property was also a strip mine, where they come in and they take a section of the hillside where the coal is not too deep, and they take the timber off it, they take the topsoil and the subsoil off it, and they mine the coal out of it. And during the reclamation process, they push the dirt back on top of that and they reseed it. But this was done so long ago that the standards for reclamation weren't as good as they are today, or as stringent as they should be. So when they did that, they had 2 retention ponds down here to collect the water from the strip job that they were working on here. So with this rake on the front of our dozer blade, we're able to go through, take the rocks out of the plot, ripping the soil up at the same time so we find out what type of soil we have here. Hopefully we have a lot of topsoil and not just subsoil or rock in this plot. So if you notice behind me here, we're not taking too much of the surface off, the topsoil we're not losing, but we're able to pick out these goonies that are going to be hard on our disc or hard on our tractor and any other implements we're using in here. So far, so good. It's only 2 passes, but I see a lot of good topsoil here, some clay. It's a little bit dry because we are into late July here, but I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, but we are anticipating a lot of rocks and a lot of handwork in here when we're done. But this is going to be one cool spot.
Kip Adams from the National Deer Association here. One of the really cool things that Jerry and Austin did here was, in any time when you're looking at managing for deer and managing habitat specifically, it's good to put food and cover close together. Now, obviously from a food end, we want to maximize the amount of production that we can get. So they did a great job finding the best soil in these areas to go ahead and do that. Because think about this, if you can provide all of the same inputs in 2 different areas, but be able to provide a tremendous more amount of forage in one of those 2 for deer, it just makes sense to do that. However, far too many people don't look at what they have. They just try to put food where it's always been or cover where it's always been. There's tremendous value in taking a look at what is there, and from a forage end, finding the best soil available, using that to be able to maximize what you can provide for deer.
So you can still hear that dozer running. We're only about 50 yards off of where we're putting this food plot in, down in this bottom. And you can see how lush and thick it is down in here. There's really no valuable timber in here. So we'll come in and do a lot of hinge cutting, maybe put a couple clearings in here with some switchgrass in here to really give them some bedding that they feel comfortable in. And again, we're trying to catch them at our plot before they get to the large destination plot, which we're really trying not to hunt to keep the pressure off the deer so they feel comfortable to stay on our farm and feed on our farm and not the neighbors. Well, just about 3 hours after we started to work on these plots, our hunch proved to be right. We have really good workable soil in here. We feel really confident we can get some crops to grow in here this year. One of the first things, like we always tell you, we're going to be doing soil samples today. We're going to get them sent to Penn State and get them back as soon as we can so we know the right application of lime and fertilizer for this plot to get the soil corrected. And from that point, I'll discuss a little bit about what we did. We brought a dozer in here, like we told you, because these were ponds that they reclaimed on the strip mines here, and we felt that there was going to be a lot of rock in these fields. It turned out there wasn't. And I realize a lot of you guys don't have 2,000-3,000 acres that you're managing, and you have the feasibility to go out and rent a dozer or bring a dozer in. But the fact is, renting some equipment or borrowing some equipment, whether it's here for 3 hours at maybe $60 an hour, committing $180 to a plot like this to save on your smaller equipment and beating it up and not having it to use all year is well worth the money spent. We came in here thinking that we were going to be picking a lot of rocks out of this plot, and it turns out, as our other hunch was, at the base of this hill where they had stripped all the topsoil off, they'd left a lot of topsoil on the bases here. So we are in really good shape. We have plenty of soil to work. We're going to come in here tomorrow, disc this field up, and get it prepped and get ready to wait for our soil sample to come back and get this thing seeded. Okay guys, well, it's been about a week since we finished up the prep work in this food plot. We've been down once or twice more and dissed it again, and the plot seemed to grow some rocks. So I spent the last half an hour or so picking out some of the most recent rocks. Denny showed up with the tractor and the Brilliant. That's what we're gonna be seeding this with. We're putting in a blend called Now and Later, which, as it sounds, we want something to be in here now this fall for the deer, which is a blend of brassicas, turnips, radishes, rapes, and also clover and chicory, which is what's going to take over in the spring to give us a later portion of this. So now and later, just as it sounds, we got a crop this fall to hunt over and a crop to look forward to hunting over for years to come with the clover and chicory. We got the Brilliant out here today, which we're going to plant this with, which is a great application for this. We got a small seed box in the front where we put our clovers, our chicories, and our brassicas, and we got a grass box in the back where today we have our oats. So this is going to go down. We have a cultipacker in the front to give us a good firm seed bed. It's going to drop the seeds in between it, and it's going to cultipack that seed in so it's just ready for the rain. Well, we got our results back from Penn State, and it was clear that the soil needed some attention. So the next step for us is to implement the application of a product from Deer Grow called Plot Start. Plot Start is a liquid that balances your soil's pH 3 times faster than other lime solutions. This product is a big advantage for us because it eliminates the need to prep the soil for seeding, because this product can be applied directly to the soil after seeding. And after all this work, we couldn't be happier with the results. Our crop grew like a weed, and the deer were consistently using the area. And although we didn't get a chance to mature a buck here, we feel confident that as the bedding we created matures, our opportunities will only increase. So that's it for today, everyone. And as always, thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Off Season.